Every country in the world is playing by one set of financial rules. Rules they didn't write, didn't vote on, and mostly don't talk about. It's not the IMF, it's not the UN. It's an oil deal made in secret in 1974. And it's still quietly running the global economy today. Every time you buy something and anything, the price of that thing was shaped by a currency agreement you've never heard of. The cost of your groceries, your gas, your electricity bill, even the shipping fee on your last online order, all quietly influenced by one system, the petrodollar. In 1974, US Secretary of State Henry Kissinger struck a deal with Saudi Arabia that would reshape global finance for the next half-century. No public vote, no international treaty, just a handshake that changed how every country on Earth handles money. Here's how the loop works. Saudi Arabia, the world's largest oil exporter, agreed to price all its oil exclusively in US dollars. In return, the US gave them military protection. This included massive weapons deals and strategic partnerships. Because Saudi Arabia set the standard, every other major oil producer had to follow. OPEC countries didn't want to be left behind. So now if Japan wants to buy oil from Iraq, they pay in dollars. If South Korea buys from Kuwait, dollars. If Germany buys from Nigeria, dollars. No matter where the oil comes from, no matter where it's going, it goes through the dollar first. That means every country on Earth needs a constant supply of US dollars just to keep their economy running. Not because they trust the US, because they need oil for their energy. But here's where it gets interesting. All those dollars flowing into oil-producing countries don't just sit in a vault. They get reinvested into US government bonds and Wall Street stocks. They also flow into American real estate and luxury property. The money goes out, buys oil, and flows right back into the US financial system. It's not a trade, it's a trap. And most countries walked in willingly because they had no choice. Think about what this actually means. Japan has almost no domestic oil. To power its factories, it must first earn dollars, usually by selling exports to the US or countries that hold dollars. It's essentially paying a middleman tax to the US just to keep the lights on. Venezuela tried to price its oil in euros in the early 2000s. Saddam Hussein switched to euros in 2000 before the Iraq War. Both of these nations face serious geopolitical consequences. Or imagine you're running a coffee shop and one person controls the price of water, owns the bank you borrow from, and decides who can use the payment system. That's what the petrodollar does, at a country level. And this is why US financial sanctions are so powerful. When you cut a country off from dollar-denominated oil markets, you don't just freeze their assets, you starve their economy of energy. Russia found this out after 2022. Iran has lived it for decades. It's not about money, it's about oil, and oil is about survival, which is exactly why countries like China, Russia, India, and Brazil are now building an alternative, the BRICS alliance, specifically designed to trade oil outside the dollar system. Not because the dollar is weak, because being dependent on any one country's currency is a national security risk. China is now settling oil trades with Saudi Arabia in yuan. Russia is pricing oil to India in rubles. These are small shifts, but in a system this interconnected, small shifts have large consequences. So the question isn't whether the petrodollar will end. It will slowly, piece by piece, one yuan-denominated deal at a time. The real question is, what happens to everyday prices, interest rates, and global stability? And when the world's reserve currency loses its grip on oil? Because when that changes, and it's already changing, everything priced in dollars changes with it.